Hello, I'm being distracted by Porter. I'm SJ, and this is hopefully the first of many Fallout 4 and Fallout 76 build videos. I've decided to do my very first settlement video at Oberland Station, so I'm chuffed a bit with how it came out, and I'd like to share it with you. Before I start, though, I've got a couple of caveats, a couple of notifications even. First of all, I am a PlayStation player, which means that I am going to have a smaller choice of mods than those of you who play on Xbox and on PC. Second of all, yes, the settlement has been created using mods, so there will be a list of which mods I've used in the description below the video. And third, last but definitely not least, there will be spoilers. If you have never played Fallout 4 before, or if you are going through your very first playthrough and you have not completed it, please be aware that I may end up discussing things that have to do with the storyline, so you have been warned. There will be spoilers. Right, on to Oberland Station. Oberland Station, I acquired, or I was able to turn into a settlement for the Minutemen fairly early on in my playthrough, and it's proven to be an interesting build, to say the least. It's undergone several changes, and I'm at a stage where I'm really happy with what I've got right now. A little bit of information on what I personally think of settlements in Fallout 4 is I want them to be as true to the environment as possible. So I'm not going to try and build a tribute to a Zetan spaceship in a Fallout 4 settlement. I'll leave that to 76, where it's expected almost, and I'll have as much Fallout 76 doing that sort of build. But I kind of wanted it to be something that you could just encounter while you're exploring the Commonwealth, and it wouldn't look out of place. So one of the design decisions that I made was I wanted it to be a walled settlement. Just simply from a design perspective, if I'm trying to be true to... Thank you, Porter. You just continue to be there almost like you know there's a camera and you just want to be in front of the camera. Oh! That was scary. Right. Yeah, I want the walls to be there. From a trying to be true to the game and real to the game. Pretty much all settlements in Fallout that I've known from the games I've played have had some form of defensive perimeter. It's a lot more. It's much more difficult for, say, a gang of raiders or a pack of wolves or a pack of feral ghouls to attack a settlement if the settlement is completely surrounded by a wall. So it made sense to me to do the same with the settlement. This is, by the way, a Minutemen settlement. So it will have Minutemen protecting it. You can notice the turrets surrounding the settlement. These are, I suppose, it's having to want to be true to your own design aesthetic, but at the same time realizing that the game is going to be the game and do what the game does. So these turrets, for example, perfectly well placed in a real setting. You've got high ground and you're completely dominating whatever comes down here, and just as luck would have it, there is a spawn point right by those trees, so they are well placed to deal with them. The same thing happens with not so much these turrets, although these do face down there as well, but with these turrets here. They are there to manage spawns that happen around, well, some halfway between where the dog is and where I am, so about here. This is another spawn point, so those turrets are there for that reason. There is a third spawn point. If you know about settlement management and you know where the spawn points are for settlement attacks, you'll know there's a third spawn point. Unfortunately, that's smack in the middle of the settlement. Ah, hello. That is smack in the middle of the settlement, so there's very little I can do except just make sure that my settlers are well armed. And then I can come in and defend it if I can. So I'm going to close this gate right now, because I'm just going to continue going down the perimeter of it. Because in this corner there is the Minutemen artillery cannon, and there is a Minuteman right there. I sided with the Minutemen in my playthrough, so the Minutemen will have, there's the flag, the Minutemen will have a noticeable presence in the settlements, but they will not be the only major theme for the settlements. I'm perfectly happy with settlements being railroad managed, Brotherhood of Steel managed, even raider settlements. I'm in the middle of finishing my Nuka-Cola playthrough as well, and I don't even mind doing the odd institute settlement, which I think would be quite interesting. This settlement, Oberland Station, is quite interesting because it's on a hill, so it goes up, which means you're always going to have problems placing fences and placing walls, but it also has a bit of a terrace, a bit of a flat dip in the middle of the slope, which is where the allotment was when you first get to the settlement. So it proved to be quite tricky in some ways, and quite a lot of fun in other ways in creating it. So let's just go ahead and open it so you can see. When you come in, you're greeted by what used to be the signal station, the signal tower, which is the one structure that is here when you get to the settlement, when you come to help the settlers with their problem, and then they become a part of the Minutemen. You've got that white and green structure there, and then you've got a small allotment with a fence around it. And I quite like the structure. I didn't want to get rid of the structure. I've got a mod that allows you to pretty much clean everything if you want to. But I decided I really wanted to keep it, because with the gate, as you come in, it has a really nice sort of western feel. There's a nice balcony at the top, and there's a nice sort of covered porch, almost like arriving at a small western town in the middle of the old west, and having somebody come out of the saloon. You've got the sheriff at the top, on top of the balcony there, making sure that everything's in order and no one's up to a funny business. And I wanted, traders to come in. This is a small settlement. The footprint of this settlement is quite small. So I decided not to have a huge population. I decided to make it a fairly small settlement. I think it's about 18, 19 settlers in this settlement. And I wanted it to be a niche settlement If you know where Oberland Station is, let me just show it on my Pip-Boy. Oberland Station is right here. We are on the western side of the Commonwealth map. We are south-southeast of Sanctuary, so we're right there. Our closest other settlement is Grey Garden. And Oberland Station, in terms of how I imagined it in my playthrough, is kind of a bit of a small but regionally important settlement, in that caravans carrying trade going from the southwestern side of the Commonwealth going up north towards Sanctuary all have to pass through Oberland Station. So this is a nice sort of rest stop to resupply and keep going if they need to. So as your caravans come in, geez, you keep scaring me. As your caravans come in, they've got troughs for their pack Brahmin if they need to. They've got somewhere to get out of the rain, somewhere to do work if they need to. Some of these are, some of these are standard workbenches, but this robot, for example, I've placed an actions mat right in front of it, an invisible one, and settlers will come up to it and start working on it. There is a power armor frame and a power armor station. It's something that the sheriff is working on, so that he can have a little bit of extra firepower should raiders attack, or should anyone attack, really. As you come in, you've got two options. The compound itself is 4 major structures. You've got where the guards live, which is the signal tower, and you've got the major communal area, the major living quarters. You've got the shower facilities, and you've got the shops. So as you come in, if you turn, you'll also notice that all of the crops have been planted along the perimeter, the interior perimeter of the settlement. And what that's done is, with the exception of this settler, who is doing things in the opposite direction, even though I've changed the orientation of the potato plants, is it'll put your settlers along the perimeter of the settlement, and it'll make them be active in more places than just in the middle. Ooh, what's Porter going to do? Is he going to use the... No, he's going to use the armor workbench. Oh well, never mind, at least he's going to be distracted for a bit. I also decided to do the same thing as putting the crops along the perimeter. I decided to do the same thing with the power supply. The generator is up on the top floor here, but the cables run along the perimeter wall, and what that does is it eliminates an awful lot of the visual cable clutter, which I didn't really want for this settlement. There'll be settlements where I don't mind the visual clutter, but in this one I felt it'd be nice to just have a clean and crisp center of the settlement, and I'll show you why in a second. So if we come down this way, there's also our outhouses, and this was my brain trying to be rational with building in a slope. I said to myself, if I'm building outhouses, they're not going to be at the top of the hill, they're going to be at the bottom of the hill, because you don't want that rolling downhill. So they're all nicely lit. They're all at the bottom, so you don't have to worry about nasty smells. And there's also, in the back here, a doctor's. So if you come in, there she is, waiting to ask you what ails you. She's got a nice supply of chems in the back. There's a wheelchair in case you aren't feeling too good and you need to have a sit down. So it's nice and secluded, but everybody knows where the dock is. And here's our one of our Minutemen, who's helping protect this settlement. Ooh, look, there's, like I said, there's a settler working the crops in the perimeter, around the perimeter. And yeah, he's managing the artillery cannon. And I made the conscious effort to make sure that you could walk around the perimeter, not just your character, but as a means of helping the settlers do the same, so that they don't get stuck in different places. So I've gone ahead and put more crops around, and you can see that they do move around, and they do use the different points in the settlement so that it feels like there's an awful lot more activity. Here's the turrets at the very top. This would be the south end of the settlement, even though I'm going uphill. I, for some strange reason, keep thinking if I'm going uphill I must be going north. It's an odd thing. Right, and here is the drinking water, the water pump, also at the top of the hill. So again, it's my brain working the way it does. And like I said, you know, more crops along the perimeter, and here's somebody else. Ay, ay, ay. Oh well, at least they're working. This, and I'm staying away from the center. This is the communal shower. Like I said, the settlement works as a bit of a commune. It's a small settlement, but it is a commune. So you've got a little bit of a vanity station here, mirror, and somewhere to brush your teeth. You've got showers. I'm using the chemical showers because they are very practical and quite handy. And there's a couple of privacy cubicles if you want to have a little bit of privacy. There's another little vanity there. And then this building right here is the main communal area, and it's split in 2 levels, living on the top floor and cooking and general things to do down on the ground floor. So we'll go up to the top floor, and here's another Minuteman just having a break, and our creepy child is there staring at an empty bookcase. Yep, nothing wrong with that. So like I said, it's a commune, so it's a shared communal sleeping space. It's decorated with knickknacks. Different people have different things. They've got lockers or tables. The kids are the only ones who've got beds of their own. This is a child bed, and that's a child's bed. There is space at the back for the children to be educated, and for the adults to be able to run the finances of the settlement. There's a play space for the kids as well. There's some toys for them to be able to pass the time. The sleeping settler. Sleeping in the middle of the day. Oh well, she must have had the night shift guarding everything. Some books.
My back hurts, my feet hurt, everything hurts.
No, you can't be telling me that. You can't be telling me that everything hurts if you've just been sitting there for who knows how long. And see, you're going back to sitting. I'm going to have a word with your supervisor. Right, so if we come down this way, you will see what the whole purpose of this settlement is. And it is... And come up the... up the steps, there we go. The settlement is a mutated fern plantation. Now, I'm going to say something. This is going to be a spoiler, so if you don't want to hear about side quests, now would be a good time to mute me, if you haven't done so already. Right, so one of the side quests that you're given during your playthrough for Fallout 4, if you're in Diamond City, you get given a quest by Solomon. He's one of the merchants. And he asks you in the side quest called Botany Class to go to the Forest Grove Marsh. If you know the map, Forest Grove Marsh is southwest. It is literally just a short walk from Oberland Station. He asks you to go to Forest Grove Marsh to bring him back some mutated fern flowers, because mutated fern flowers, he claims, can be used for crafting chems. So you go there, and long story short, it's infested with ghouls. The last people that went to try and get the mutated fern flowers never came back. You find their corpses. You take care of the ghouls, you harvest the fern flowers, and you go back, you give them to Solomon. Solomon gives you caps. All's well that ends well. But what I decided in my playthrough is, after you do that side quest, your character, the sole survivor, decides that it would be a good idea if the fern flowers are moved to a safer setting so that they can be harvested commercially by a group of enterprising settlers. So he speaks to the settlers, or she speaks to the settlers, in my case, he speaks to the settlers and tells, or they speak to the settlers. Oh, right, I'm going off topic here. The sole survivor speaks to the settlers and convinces them that it would be a good idea for them to have a plantation. And so they do. And I love the red awnings, because the red awnings are just absolutely brilliant. They give shade, because ferns are shade-loving plants. But they also create this lovely sort of... it's just the play of shadows, one. The lighting's brilliant, but it also makes it look a bit clandestine. Almost as if, you know, should a Brotherhood of Steel vertibird fly by, there's nothing growing here, we swear. So I quite enjoy the way that it came out. It's really nice. And the settlers, you know, will work on it a good part of the day, so it looks really, really good. So that is our central courtyard, and then the ground floor here of the main structure is dedicated to things like the chemistry stations, so that they can process the mutated fern flowers, so that they can go ahead and send the chems to other parts of the Commonwealth. Curious thing though, Solomon says that it can be used for crafting, and I think what he says that it can be used for crafting is either Radex or Radaway, and yet I've not been able to find any recipe in the chemistry station that uses mutated fern flowers for crafting. It may just be me. If you know what recipe is actually they are actually used for, please let me know in the comments. But yes, you've got a chemistry station here. If you walk this way, there is a working laundry, which will take dirty laundry and make it clean. There's a cooking station. There's actually 2 cooking stations. There's another one here, and a sofa for relaxing, and there's another. Yes?
Ain't looking for trouble, I hope.
No, I'm not looking for trouble, but you said everything hurt. I take it you must be feeling better. Yeah, I assume so. Right. There's a chill-out station here, a game for the kids, some Nuka-Cola. You're stalking me. Stop that. And a nice partition here. Yes, the crops are going pretty good. Yes, they are. There's a partition here to sort of keep the area that would be used by the settlers, so this bit, from the slightly more public areas, which would be trapped by the curtains, which would be the shops. You've got a general store, a clothing store, nice things for sale on both of them. You've got a restaurant bar, plenty of drinks, great food to eat. and it's obviously a warm day in the Commonwealth. You've got your open air grill. There's our generator for the settlement. A bit beat up, but it doesn't matter because it does what it's supposed to do. And giblets, settler giblets that I've tried to get rid of for the past few weeks, and they just won't go away. The access to the top I did via 2 separate staircases. I thought the settlers were going to have trouble using them, but it turns out that they're actually quite good at using different staircases for different things. They'll use this one to come in here, which is where the 2 beds are for the guards. So sheriff over there needs to sleep, he goes to sleep there. This floor has been kept relatively clean. There's a few bits here, a few bobs there, wooden crates, some ammo because he's going to need it if he needs to defend the settlement. Some tools, first aid.
Yes.
Sheriff. And then this stairway to go down. And we've got a few chickens around. Hello there. Another chicken. A few rabbits. I do like the rabbits. They just love to hang by the fire. And this fire is over the fire that is supposed to be the calling point for the travelling caravans. And that cat just keeps stretching and looking at the bits of settler giblet like if I'm not looking he's going to eat them all, but he never does. And then when we're at the very end of this, we've got one more bar, another very well stocked bar, and curiously enough, Captain, curiously enough, settlers love coming up here at night and just sitting here and congregating around the bar and just having a chat. So it's really quite nice. And then this is our back door. So you can come out this way again. That dog just decided to stay out there. I think he just waits for things to spawn and just kills them when they come running down this way. A few more crops to be harvested. And one curious thing. If you come up this way, I've yet to see a settler do this. It would be great if I found one of them up here. Some clever clogs has gone ahead and placed a telescope, a couch, a few choice items of consumption, so that on clear evenings, starry skies, they can just sit back, watch the stars, take a puff of jet, maybe have a few sips of rum, and stare out and become one with the cosmos. So, yeah, I think this is a good way to spend an evening if you're not being attacked by everything else that's outside the walls. So yes, this is Oberland Station. I enjoyed building it immensely. It was a challenge. Border. It was a challenge, but it was a fun challenge. And like I said when I said about the wiring, I wanted to keep the wiring out of the center because I really wanted the plantation to look the way it does, and it's just really loads of fun. So this is it. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. If you did, please hit the like button, and let me know what you think. And I will be posting other videos from other settlements and from shelters from 76, Fallout 76. I don't think I'll be doing camp ones. I don't think I'm good enough to do camp videos at the moment, but I do enjoy doing the shelters. So yes, it's been a pleasure, and I will see you in the next video.